kept short-term interest rate targets in the U.S. at or near zero since 2008. On Wall Street today, the Dow was up 23 points at 16,374. The Nasdaq closed down 16 points. The Standard & Poor's 500 gained 2 points today, ending the session at 1951. You're listening to NPR.
The robots are here. The robots are here. Look. Like G's the word. A mannequin, a drone, a dummy. It's no joke. We got picks and a stack, so don't adjust that station. Our guest and your calls in the queue coming up next.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip, unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jam, unlock it, surf it, scroll it, pause it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, Technologic.
Live from studios in South Hall on the beautiful campus of Jacksonville State University, it's the Hey Techies Show. Now, here are your hosts in chairs that should have been thrown out years ago, Michael and Bruce.
Technologic.
Well, good evening, folks. So glad you are here with us tonight, and we have an exciting show, and we have some guests here tonight, and we're going to have to share a few microphones. So I wanted to open up the show tonight with thanking the guru for prepping all this and getting all this going and getting everyone here tonight. In a way, he's the one that sort of said, "Hey, let's get the robotics team here."
Yeah,
and so I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, the folks in Pleasant Valley are near and dear to my heart. I know a lot of them, and I'm glad they were willing to come on and talk to us tonight.
Yeah. So I want to welcome in Bruce.
I'm just kind of upset you didn't ask everybody how they were. Figured that was the first thing. Hey, how are you?
How are you, Bruce?
Fantastic. We're just playing musical microphones here for a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're too close is what I think.
I don't think we're close enough.
Okay, now it's going from tech to something else that we won't discuss. But we're so glad to have you all here with us. And those that have been listening, you know how this show goes. We sort of open it up and kind of give an idea of what we're going to try to discuss. But today we've got with us some guests, as I said, and I want to tell a little bit about who we have here. The Pleasant Valley High School robotics team was established in 2013. The team has completed in both Best Robotics and I think it's VEX, isn't it? VEX EDR competitions. They have won awards for Best Engineering Notebook, Most Reliable Robot, and CAD Design. The team is set up in a company-style format with a CEO and departments designed to streamline the season as well as team functions. In their first year, the team's membership was 10 and has grown to over 30 members in their largest year. Now in their third year of competition, the team plans to compete in the VEX IQ competition and encourage Pleasant Valley middle school age team members to get more involved. I want to welcome to the show Brittany and Adam Gooseby. Is that right?
It is.
Okay, great. Well, so glad to have you with us. Now, Brittany, I understand you may. There you go. Now, Brittany, don't be shy. Now, I understand that you are the CEO. What does that entail?
Okay, as the CEO, I am the department head or like a captain of a cheer squad, and I tell everybody I have leaders who report back to me. And they tell me what the objectives are of their teams. And we have build and design team, engineering notebook team, and programming, along with marketing. And Hannah does marketing. And Bradley does build and design. And Caleb Shaw is the head of our programming. And they all have their teams and objectives. And they report back to me, and I tell them what they need to do and what to get done. Actually, today on the whiteboard in the classroom, we wrote down the objectives and what we needed to do so we would be more organized, which I like organization. So everybody does stuff, and then they report back to me, and I tell them what they should do.
Okay. Yeah, that's what a CEO does.
I'm pretty impressed because I know some college classes that can't even get that much organization. So that's really impressive that you can get that many people.
I like
to,
that organization at times too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, usually it's when you have teams, it's one or two people do all the work, and the other two just get the credit.
Yes.
Yeah, like our team is doing right now with sharing this microphone.
I'm over here just a mess too, so I'm
You
not
know-
having to share a microphone, but I'm sitting here just dropping stuff and can't do anything. So.
Please, he's the producer. He gets his own microphone. Isn't that how that show goes? Well, anyway, I wanted to start off sort of about a little bit about the robots. Now, I know that's what we came to talk about. So, regarding the robots, are they designed from scratch, or is there a kit the students build? How does that all begin?
Well, a lot of that depends on the competition that they're in. If they do the VEX competition, you actually have prefabricated parts that you order and you get a stockpile and you can build based upon what they sell. To where when we do the BEST competition in the fall, BEST, they give you a box of just random parts, sheets of plywood that are half cut up and old PVC pipes and bicycle tires and just random junk, and say build a robot. So a lot of it depends upon the competition.
Wow. So when they give you you get this box, I assume it comes shipped, and you don't really know what's in it, right, before you even look at it, or do you have some idea?
They've got some standard parts that they do each year. Like, we know we're going to get some PVC. You know you're going to get some plywood. You know you're going to get, it's a bicycle brake cable they give you every year. You know that's coming. But each year, based upon what the robot has to do in the game, they're going to supply you with different parts.
So are some of these parts based on something else you have to help you build the robot as far as what you're going to do?
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
so these parts aren't necessarily going to be on the robot per se.
No, not necessarily.
Okay. All right. So now I guess so the teams can't really build pretty much what they want, right? Or can they? Can they build pretty much what they want?
It depends on what objective you want to go with. Like the game, like past year was Blade Runner, and it is set up where you had build windmills, or you could open bridges to traverse across a bumpy road, so they like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And one team, I'm just going to use an example, used claws to pick up things called prairie chickens that were in the way, and other teams would just run them over. So it's just whatever you want to do with your robot is how you do it. You build it to suit what you want to do when you score points, because you score points for the things you do. And teams like the CEO and Mr. Gooseby and I will discuss how we want to go, and that's how we'll build our robot. Because it's just a box of junk, to be honest, and you just have to build what you want to. And that's what I like, because you see all these things like come off the ground essentially.
Oh,
so
okay. So if you're doing the best, as you said. That's really the higher competition level. Is that correct or not correct? How does that work?
The BEST competition is more intense, I would say, than the VEX, just because in the VEX competition, it's just a robot. You build the robot, you write up your engineering notebook and explain how you did it. With BEST, you do marketing campaigns, and you've got to build a showroom booth that displays all the stuff that you do. Your marketing presentation team goes before a panel of judges, almost like this TV show Shark Tank, and they've got to sell their robot to a panel of judges. Not just building the robot and competing with it, but also being able to market it and sell it. And they have a team cheer competition to where you bring the most noise you possibly can to it. It's a more well-rounded competition that you can involve everybody on campus and not just your engineers that you may develop up.
Okay. All right. You got anything to add to that?
Like you said, like with the different parts, the engineering notebook is what I mostly do, and I'm also a cheerleader. So like when he said everybody involvement, we took one of the robots to a pep rally, and everybody got to see it. And we also went to an elementary school, and little kids, even I'm a senior, and then we have 7th graders, and they get to interact with us. And there's different parts. So it's, if you like marketing, then you would talk to everybody. If you like building and staying, you'd be on our building design team. It's really like, there's different things that you can do on the team if you like different things, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
So you don't have to be like the uber nerd,
No.
like engineer to
No.
be in this robotics stuff.
Not at all. It's just do what you want to do.
Okay.
We let you have choices. So
What about something that's at Bruce's heart is batteries. And what about the battery source? Is there a common battery source that you have to use, or are there limitations?
There is a battery source, and whether you do VEX or whether you do BEST, VEX still supplies the part for the batteries, and they have what they call their.
It's not your fault. We're having trouble with that mic. It's the cable. We apologize.
Okay, we're good.
Just keep talking, but you got to touch the end of the cable. There's something's going on. We're sorry.
You got it. Good work.
Go ahead. Apologize for that.
The VEX company supplies the battery for every competition that we do in Alabama, whether it be the best one or whether it be VEX. They have what is their nickel battery that is rechargeable that attaches to their brain, as you would call it.
Mm-hmm.
So either competition that we do, Best or VEX, uses the same battery source. And it's rechargeable, and then you have the remote control that you actually drive the robot with that also has batteries that are supplied by VEX, and they give you the rechargeable center and all the components that go with it.
Now, how long of a time frame? Like, it's not a Tesla battery, right?
No.
How long of a time frame does it last? Hey, I was going to get that in there, Bruce, any way I could.
You usually get about 2 to 3 hours of competition play with it.
Uh-huh.
So it's good to have, in competitions they have set up where you have battery charging stations that it's an entire table long, one of those like 18-foot tables,
right.
And you identify your battery charger in competition. Everybody's running over there between rounds and trying to keep those batteries charged up because it won't do anything if you don't have batteries on it. It just kind of sits
right.
there.
Well, sure, that stands to reason.
And we've had that problem in competition.
Okay, so your battery was not making sort of like in NASCAR. If you lose your the charge or your battery and you don't have a second one, you're toast.
Last year alone in our best competition, we had to send some parents, run them to the nearest gas station to go pick up some AA batteries because our rechargeables in the remote control were just done. They wouldn't charge at all.
Yeah.
So they brought in like 5 or 6 different packs of AA batteries just to keep the things running. But
okay. Well, when we come back, we're going to change gears to a little something else along the lines with these robots and learn more about the Pleasant Valley High School robotics team. Stick with us.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to Scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Looking to cure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Mad Hat Cupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn is a proud patron of WLJS 91.9 FM. Located at 215 Pelham Road, Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn has everything you need from TVs, laptops, CDs, video games, and much more. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and 10 to 3 on Saturdays, Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn is ready to get you cash in a flash. For more info on Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn, call 256-435-8806.
Yes, Bruce, this is for you.
I love it when you play my music.
The static makes me think like it's something with the Jazzler.
No, it's not, Guru. That's that song.
That's Moby.
Moby. All right, well, welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. We're having way too much fun in here and trying to learn the logistics of moving microphones around with very limited ability here. But again, so glad you've joined us. And if you're just joining us, we have with us Brittany and, of course, Mr. Gooseby, Adam Gooseby, He is the teacher there at Pleasant Valley High School, where they run the robotics team. And so Bruce is going to ask a few questions regarding the remote and that kind of thing.
So, of course, I couldn't wait, and I was asking it during the break, but it's really good information. So I had asked, how exactly does this work? Because we had discussed previously that you do some programming, and I was just curious, do they send you a computer that this all works on, or does it you just program it and then the remote sends out that signal? Exactly how does that work?
Well, you have to supply your own computer. Anything that's a Windows-based computer is what most of the operating systems are compatible with the program. We use EasyC specifically just because it's a lot easier for high school students that don't really understand all of the inner workings of actual coding and the logic systems that go into it. Yeah. But they use C++ coding, and the EasyC program simplifies it for the students. And it's a drag and drop, and the variables are defined for you, and you just say you want the motors to turn on and how long you want them to stay on or what power you want them to run to, and that's all defined for you. To where there's another option that's actually just called Robot C, that you write your own coding from the ground up. That if you have someone who really is a coding expert, that makes good sense to them. But most high school kids just don't have that experience. So EasyC just really simplifies that a lot.
Yeah, it kind of already builds the objects for them. Cool. So they're still learning object-oriented programming. That's pretty neat, especially for a high school level.
Oh, absolutely.
So as you're saying, when you program it, it basically goes onto the remote, and then the remote sends the signals.
Yes.
Cool.
Correct.
Well, that answers my question.
That gets it. That gets it for you, Bruce. Now, what about autonomous? They can either work autonomous or, I assume, manual, right? You could actually feed it manual. It's like a joystick, right?
Yeah.
Similar.
When you're using the Robot C program, it gives you two options that you can program autonomously, or you can program what they call game mode. And if it's game mode, you control what the robot does. And you have two joysticks and then a series of buttons that are on the controller. The controllers look very, very similar to an Xbox controller. I mean, that's the way they're designed. So kids that play Xbox typically are good drivers because they're used to holding that controller and using the mechanisms within it. But the controls themselves, if you use the manual mode, it's pretty awesome because those robots can do anything.
Yeah.
And then when you do the autonomous, in the VEX competition, there's the first part of every game period is considered autonomous mode. And you have a certain time length that your robot has to function on its own. And again, with each game, it's different as to what it has to do. This past year, it had to pick up boxes and stack them on top of each other by the robot self, and the drivers couldn't control that. So that was pretty awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Best and Vex are they're two totally different beasts and animals, but they're alike in the way that you have different Vex parts, you have different Best parts, and you build a different robot. Like, just a different school will have a different robot than we will because they have different ideas than we do. So Vex kind of reminds us of Legos or Kinects because of the fact that they snap essentially together like that, and you have to build them. But everybody's robot is still different in both competitions.
So this being a competition, I got to ask, who's y'all's big rival?
Shock the nation. Well, there's this team. Can I tell them? Talladega Career Technical School. They last year when they would win awards, they say "shock the nation," and we kind of shock the nation, sarcasm. But Talladega, they're a big competition. Lincoln, and to be honest, there's not very many girls that do robotics, and it's a lot of guys. You're surrounded by a lot of male peers. And Talladega and Lincoln and judges, there's judges at best, they will come up to you as a girl and say, "I'm so glad you're here. It is so nice to see you here," because girls, I love it. I love it so much. And girls usually don't do it, but like I said, Talladega is mostly boys. Lincoln is mostly boys. It's just a male predominantly field.
Yeah, I think that's just STEM in general, and there's been some movements to try and bring more women into that. But the reason why I asked because I was looking through. There's actually a Wikipedia page for this, and it's quite extensive. And the first championship, first place was Metro Homeschool out of Blue Springs, Missouri. Second place was United Engineering and Technology Magnet out of Laredo, Texas. And third place was Wetumpka High School. That's pretty impressive.
It is.
Alabama is
can I tell you how, like, like why they're from different places?
Yeah.
It's broken down. Like, we're Southeast Best, aren't we? And Southeast Best is like I said, Talladega, Lincoln,
Yeah.
and whoever from surrounding areas around here wants to go. And we go to Talladega Super Speedway, and
Yeah.
that's where we do it. But then if we make it past this level, we go to state, which is in Auburn.
Yeah.
And then you keep going on to like
nationals.
nationals and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So you're from different areas. Like there's probably a southwestern best.
Yeah.
And they compete in a different
That-
place than we do. Like Birmingham does it, but they don't compete with us because they're not from our region,
Yeah.
so to say.
And that's what I was saying, that was the first nationals that Wetumpka took
That's
third.
great.
That's what I was wondering if they were maybe your
Yeah, we need
rivals or
to
something.
we need to start the Hey Techies like robotics bracket. So when it
Oh,
gets to
yeah.
that point, you start filling out your bracket.
Yeah, start filling out your
Yeah,
bracket.
that's right.
Winner gets a
Put
free
money-
pizza.
put money.
That's right.
That's what. Sweet 16, baby.
Oh my goodness.
So how many high schools in this area in Calhoun, Etowah County have a robotics team that you're aware of?
Within the Calhoun County school system, where there's a movement that's going, we're trying to get more teams involved and more schools involved because, I mean, it's amazing opportunities for kids. Right now, Pleasant Valley High School has one. We're the first school to develop a program. White Plains joined along with us right shortly after. Ohatchee started a team last year. And I don't want to say wrong names, but I know there were a few schools that sent teachers this summer to some training
Okay.
so that they can get involved. So if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 to 5 teams in the county, and then in the county school system. I know Anniston is branching out into it a little bit. Jacksonville's elementary system does it more so than the high school. Oxford Middle and High School have teams that compete with us in Best. So, I mean, just in this region, it's there. Etowah County has several teams that are involved. Their Career Technical Center competed the very first year they were there and actually won Rookie Team of the Year that year. They had an awesome team they put together from the very first time to try around. I'm trying to think of other schools that were there. Gadsden City has a team that competes each year. Episcopal Day School. So I'm even getting the private schools in that are involved.
Wow, that's impressive.
Now, going back to the programming, changing gears here, do you have a process where you have something that would debug your programming? That if you have problems, you say, well, where exactly is the problem?
Well, we've got a connection line through EasyC. If you have an issue, you can contact them. I do some training each summer in Auburn, going to the university, and
Sure.
they bring in a company called Visual Edge that helps us, and they're out of Indiana. And
Read about them.
We have a little tech guy that we can shoot an email to and say, here's the issue. He says, take a screenshot of it, and we'll try to debug it for you and find your issues if you can't find them. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that now? Go ahead. Let her.
Well, our wonderful sponsor, Mr. Gooseby, spends his precious time during the summer and goes to Auburn. You went to Auburn, didn't you? And he usually wins. Just go ahead and throw that in there. Let me brag on him. He usually wins, and Auburn for participating in this workshop, and they sent us a VEX field. What'd you say the price was? $6,000, and we were building it today. Actually, we were constructing
Okay.
it so we can practice on it because we'll
No, it's
utilize.
a VEX field.
It's a VEX playing
You got to
field.
explain that a little bit more.
Okay, like I said, Best has a playing
Correct,
field.
right.
So Vex's playing field, but they construct. It's like I said, like Lego parts, and you like construct it, and it's different playing fields like that. You know more about the field. You want to explain it? Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. This year in particular, the game that we're doing is Vex IQ, which is the smaller little plastic robots as opposed to the metal ones.
Okay,
that, it's just
yes,
Vex.
yeah. It's more snapped together,
yes,
isn't
it
that
is.
correct?
And it's more middle school oriented, but we competed with those robots this summer. We did the metal Vex last summer, and then we did the plastic ones this summer. And this particular playing field has got a game that's called Bank Shot, and you've got to develop a robot that can throw these little plastic balls into a little bin and score points that way, or drive up ramps and pick balls up and move them around. And that particular game field they sent us is everything you need to set that up so that you can play that at school, or if you want to host tournaments, you can host tournaments, or
Wow.
however you want to handle that. But it was awesome that we got that resource just essentially handed to us just for going to this training. So,
Well, that is great.
Yeah, that's great.
That is super great.
I just thought of something. Can you use code from previous years on current year's competitions?
you're discouraged from doing that.
That's the whole point
But,
of
I mean,
coding.
Yeah, reuse. I mean, I use
mean,
code all the time.
Yeah.
If you've got a system that works,
Yeah.
it's crazy to just scrap it. So what we do, because each game, your game's going to change every year. So
Yeah.
you really, I mean, for example, our very first year that we competed in Best, our robot did not move on its own at all. Like, it had
Yeah.
an arm that would move, but it was strapped to a conveyor belt that you have what's called a spotter on the team that tries to watch the game field, that had to control the robot with a turnstile that moved it back and forth across the field. So you didn't have to have wheels or any way to really make it drive across the game field, to where last year the robot was on 4 wheels and you had to get it on the ground and make it move. So that kind of coding you can't really reuse, because you want a robot that can move as opposed to one that can't. So
I was just wondering, like, an artificial intelligence element of this, like, just keep it in there, and then it knows as it evolves, it can adapt to that stuff. So you run it through test, and then you can just build it year and year, and then if they give you something back to generation 1, you've still got it.
And I'm not going to lie, I've got it all in jump drive. So I mean, it's it's totally there.
I mean, that's the whole point of coding. Why reinvent the wheel?
Absolutely.
What's that? Go ahead.
With reusing the programming, some of the objectives are different. Like,
Yes.
So why would you use moving up a claw arm up and down when you need to roll forward or roll backwards?
Right.
So you can use different pieces if you need them, but if you don't need them, then you just have to start from scratch.
As we go to break, I was going to ask you, and so y'all will have to stick around to find out. But we're going to talk more about exactly the parts on the products you build, wheels versus belts, tracks. I've seen some that have tracks, that kind of thing. So, hey, stick with us. The Hey Techies Show will be rolling right along when we come back.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Wise Guys Pizzeria and Bar is ready to satisfy your taste buds with a wide variety of pizza and other Italian treats. Located at 7113 US 431 Alexandria, Alabama, they are open Monday through Saturdays from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. For more information, like them on Facebook or call 256-820-0888. Wise Guys Pizzeria and Bar is a proud patron of WLJS.
Looking to cure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Mad Hat Cupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. Bruce is just having fun. Well, so glad you could be with us, and if you're just tuning into the Hey Techies Show, you know that, if you didn't know, rather, we are having the Pleasant Valley High School, at least two people from the Pleasant Valley High School robotics team with us. And so we last left, we were going to discuss about exactly what are the parts. For instance, are these metal arms? How do you go about designing, building? I know you probably have an idea of what you want to do, but does your whole team say, okay, we need you to do this idea, we need you to build this part of it? You see where I'm going?
It's kind of like when you write code. It's kind of the analysis design piece before you actually start building.
Yeah.
Well, when we start each year off, you have to have the general game idea in play. And we have a cooperating engineer that comes in and works with us. That one of our teachers, her husband is an engineer that works for Alabama Power.
Okay.
And he volunteers his time with the kids, and he comes in and he'll go through the brainstorming process with them and just say, okay, here's what your robot has to do shoot some ideas at me. And then when they start throwing ideas at him being the engineer, he knows how to sketch these things out, and he knows how to orient the ideas to where there can be something feasible to put together or to operate with, and he'll help them maneuver ideas that are bad and ideas that are good. And then the kids eventually come together and say, this is the idea we think is going to work the best, and they use the parts that were given if it's in the best competition and put together this robot based on the idea that they've come up with that is going to be what's going to win the game for them. And if it fails, you're back to the drawing board again, because that's one of the things that I teach the kids in the class is the whole engineering process, that you set up a prototype, you try to put it together, you test it. If it doesn't work, you fix it, and you go back through that process again until you get something that's not perfect, because nothing ever is, but the best that you possibly can put together before competition day. So, and it all just depends upon what the idea of the game is as to what parts you're going to need or what design you're going to have or whatever goes into the game.
Okay. So if you had, for instance, is this your bank shot, I think? Is that what I understood, one of the competitions? You have to possibly hit a I don't know all about it.
The Vex IQ game is
going to be
shot,
okay. And, but that's more the snap together, right?
It is,
they have a whole plan that they you already know what you're going to build.
Yes. See, in the Vex game, they release it in like February of each year. So you know in advance. With Best, we won't know anything about the game until September 26th. And we go to kickoff day then in Munford, and then you have 6 weeks from that day to be finished.
Brittany, do you have anything to add?
Yeah. We know the name. That's all we know. It's Pay Dirt. That's what
Pay
they're
Dirt.
called. And they do like a teaser video, and it gives clues. And you watch it over and over again, and you don't.
Do you have any clues?
No, we think it's about mining. We
okay.
hope it's about mining because we've been bouncing ideas. If it is mining, watch it be something like airplanes.
So, do you already know your first possible competition date? Do you?
Yeah, we know the dates. September 26th is kickoff day, and then you have how many? 6 weeks. 6 weeks, and then you go back to Mall Day, which is November 1st. November 1st is Mall Day. We go to the Quintard Mall, and we have a chance to do our robots on the field and see what we can get done. Then you have a week, and that's when the engineering notebook is due on November 1st. That's like has a design process, the objectives, team members, everything, miscellaneous things that you have to put in, research paper, and it just documents your whole process. And then you turn it in that day, and then you have that whole week to fix whatever is wrong. Then on that day is the day before the competition, which is on a Saturday. The day before that, on a Friday, you have to do marketing presentations, which is like Shark Tank, and you have to sell your product. And you can have 4 to 8 people that go in there and sell your product, and you talk about everything you've done, and they judge you off that, and that all accumulates into your whole score. Then you go on game day, and you try to score points, and it all comes together, and that's how they decide the winners.
So let's say it's something to do with digging. Just for thinking about this, you're going to have to find a way, I would assume, to have a tool on some type of arm or even maybe some type of front end shovel that would pivot possibly. So there's a lot of different moving parts to this. You might have to have gears that pull something to manipulate up and down.
Yes, that's what we had, if you don't mind.
No.
That's what we had to do last year. We had to have a claw arm that would go up and down, and you have to program it to do that. That's where you go into Easy C and you do that. Or like you have to have it where the wheels. We had 2 wheels on a robot, 2 big ones. They were like, that's why we called it Noah's Ark, because we had waves painted on them.
Oh, okay.
And you have to like be able to go forward or backward.
Yeah.
And that's what you program it to do. Just depends on what you have to do to score points.
Now, what about the wheels? What are they made out of?
This year's wheel, like this past year's wheels, Blade Runner is what the whole game was called, and they were made out of plywood. They were circular pieces of plywood, and didn't they have traction tape? They had traction tape on them so they could grip on the ground, because it's almost carpet like the floor in here.
Yeah.
You have to have traction to be able to go. And they have different surfaces, like it was called the bumpy road. If you could go over the bumpy road, you could score more points. So it's whatever the game calls for. And we don't know what the game is yet this year, so we don't really have an idea yet.
So there's a lot of excitement, I take it, at these meets. So can you give me an idea of about when you're at the competition, and I know you've told us about presenting and all that, but when you're actually doing the competition, what is the atmosphere like?
I know that you've been to a pep rally.
Yes.
It's like a pep rally with a big game going on in the middle. There's bands there. There's cheerleaders, and we hope that our cheerleaders will come this year. We had some last year that came.
Great.
Because you get points for spirit. And it's like there's bleachers in there, and it's just bands are playing, and cheerleaders are cheering, and people are screaming. And Mr. Gibsby's telling our drivers, do this, do this, do this, to try to score points and how to try to help us, because it's like there's only 2 people allowed on the field, the spotter and the driver. I'm the spotter, and we have a select list of drivers, and they do the different objectives.
That would
and
be Bruce. He would be driving.
Well, and everybody's standing around cheering us on, and then there's this place called the Pit where it's like total eerie calm because everybody's like freaking out if their robot's not working right.
Yeah.
And you have to have like special passes to get into the pit, special passes to get onto the playing field. So
okay.
it's very
so it's
systematic.
a big production, really, in a lot of
really
ways.
Is.
It kind of reminds me of a football game minus football.
Yeah.
With all the cheering and the bands and all that.
The lady that is our correspondent that we use through Best, that she's actually through Central Alabama Community College. Her name is Nancy Therian, and shout out to Nancy because I sent her an email today and let her know. The first thing that she told us in teacher training was this is some schools' football, because there are some private schools that don't have a football team and all they do is robots, and they'll bring a marching band, they'll bring cheerleaders, they'll bring a dance line, and they will fill up a set of bleachers in the middle of the super speedway in Talladega, and it is insane. Honest, when you said what's the atmosphere like, 2 words came to mind: mass and chaos. And that's what game day is like. And you've got to know in advance that's the atmosphere you're going into, or your team will just fall apart.
It's fun.
Oh yeah, it's
fun.
awesome.
It is so, I love it. It's just like, oh god, I'm a cheerleader, so I'm used to football games, and I love it so much. It's like so exciting, and it's like people that you can talk to and carry on conversations with because they know what you can have just logical conversation about robots with them. They're like, yeah, I understand. It's great. It's like mass chaos, but it's fun mass chaos.
So have y'all thought of a name yet for this year's robot? Because y'all said y'all name it every year.
Well, it just depends on what it looks like, honestly. Okay. Do you want?
I was gonna say you should, if it's got a dig, you should call it Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. What was last year's?
Last year was called Noah because we had to Noah, and all the animals went on to Noah's Ark. We had to say prairie chickens, so we painted waves on the wheels, and we called it Noah because he was saving prairie chickens.
Gotcha. So that was one of the objectives, was to actually save the chickens, and some people were just running them over.
Yeah, it just.
Well, the crazy thing about last year is, unlike the year before, you could seriously just set your robot down on the game field and score points for doing absolutely nothing. But in the heat of competition, you don't want to just sit and do nothing. You want to score as many points as you can. But the prairie chickens were totally in your way to doing anything. And if you knocked them over, you lost points because you killed those chickens' environments. So you had to pick those up and move them to safety. And once you got those to safety, you could complete the other tasks that are within the game. But for every chicken you left standing up, you got like I think it was either 2 or 5 points that you got just for leaving a chicken alone. So to save the chickens was one of our big objectives, and when the kids designed the robot, it looked like a big giant boat with these huge wheels on it. So they said, let's just call it Noah since it's saving animals.
Nice.
So are these events, when you're actually doing this, actually in the competition, they're timed, I assume?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
In best competition, you get 3 minutes on the game field per round, and then in Vex, you're only on the field for 2 minutes per round. So
wow.
And it's
that's a lot of work for only 2 or 3 minutes.
Insanely fast, 2 to 3 minutes.
So
like if you never experienced before, you wouldn't understand. Like my mother came in and she was like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" I was like, "No, Mom, I've got to be places. This stuff is happening so quickly. There's so many different rounds." And she's like, "This is nuts, Brittany." And I'm like, "I know, Mom, but it's great. It's fun mass chaos. Everything happens so quick, and like there's time with the rounds. And if it starts counting down, it starts counting down on the big screen they have. And if like this past year, if you didn't have the prairie chicken upright, which was just PVC pipe with a little screw on top that you could hook. If you didn't have it upright, you got dock points. And like there's scorekeepers around that wear referee outfits like a football game, and they put how many points you have to sign off if you're a driver. So it's intense when you're on there.
Did you have another question, Bruce? Okay, I have a couple. We got a few more questions. Now, I think you might have touched on this, but I was curious. Do you see them moving to more like an iOS or Android app control system? Do they have? Do you think that's or more an app-driven control system in the future? Maybe. Do you see? Because I noticed on the one of the websites, I think it's Vex. I saw some products that have been discontinued, some older stuff that seemed like they're getting away from a few controllers that were more. They were an older type controller, like more metal joysticks. It seemed like.
If anything I've learned over the years dealing with Vex is they are incredibly secretive with anything. They will not tell you any product they're designing or anything they're going to create just for the fear that someone's going to steal their idea. But with the way that the systems work now, especially with the high school kids in mind, if they're competing, like if you get to a collegiate level, a lot of them design their own controllers anyway.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
At the high school level, just to simplify the process and not blow these kids' mind right out of the water, let's keep it to a simple controller.
Okay.
Now, the Vex IQ controller and the Vex controller are totally different. The Vex IQ controller is much smaller because the competition is geared more towards middle school age kids and their hands are smaller, so it's a lot more user friendly for them, to where you get the Vex controller that's the size of a full Xbox controller, and kids that are used to playing those are pretty comfortable with that size controller. But if it goes to app, it might. Who knows? Vex never really talks, so it's hard to make that call.
Kind of like Apple keeps stuff kind of under wraps in general.
Yeah, but at least they have that one event. It's
Yeah,
twice a year.
Yeah, we're able to follow the rumors on the interwebs, and we talk about it on the show. So
Vex keeps it all under wrap. They don't tell you anything.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask a question. It's kind of very off topic, but are either y'all iOS, Android, Mac, PC? Just personally.
Oh, I'm full on Mac.
He's full on Mac. I have an iPhone, but I'm a Windows woman. Oh my gosh, he's like when he tells me to scroll through things on his Mac, he's like 100% Mac. I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't go down. There's no clicky buttons.
I was very happy when the Apple response, because people have accused me of being the Apple juicer of the three
Mr.
of us.
Gooseby. He is. He loves it. He's like, my Mac, or my iPhone.
But I will say this: the real work's done by Windows and by PCs.
I love Windows. I like it. I understand it.
Look at that, Guru being fair and balanced.
Hey, that's what it's all about. We're just reporting it.
Oh my goodness, we can't steal other news organizations' taglines. There, Guru.
We just did.
Well, Guru did.
I did not.
For those of you watching, we'll be right back. Hey Techies Show.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to Scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Looking to cure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Mad Hat Cupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
Wise Guys Pizzeria and Bar is ready to satisfy your taste buds with a wide variety of pizza and other Italian treats. Located at 7113 US 431 Alexandria, Alabama, they are open Monday through Saturdays from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. For more information, like them on Facebook or call 256-820-0888. Wise Guys Pizzeria and Bar is a proud patron of WLJS.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. Bruce has stepped out. He's given me the microphone. So, anyway. Well, Adam, I wanted to ask you this real quick. How did you get involved in teaching robotics? How did that come about?
Crazy random email.
Sorry. I had you muted. Go ahead.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
good. We're back. Crazy random email from our superintendent who's sending out to all the administrators that he'd gotten an email from JSU that they'd written a grant and gotten X number of dollars and were interested in buying some robots, and are there any teachers that would be interested in coming to this workshop? And when we got there, several teachers from Calhoun County were there. One of them was one of the teachers that does our gifted program through Calhoun County, John Moore. If you're listening, hey, John. But he and I partnered up because we've known each other for a couple of years now, and the energy that we gained, and like, man, this is awesome. If we could just get kids this fired up about this. And he said, well, I've done this for a couple of years now. And he said, you need to start a team if you can start one. So I sent our principal a text from that thing. I said, do you want us to start a team up? I said, this is amazing. These kids are going to love this. And he said, yeah, but when are you going to practice? He said, do you have to practice for robots? I said, I know nothing about it at this point. I don't know. But we did that very first year. We practiced after school, and then I got another opportunity to go to Auburn and follow up with the workshop down there that they had seen how we trained at JSU, and they wanted to get our input on that as well. They wrote a grant. So this is now the second year that I've been to Auburn on this training workshop. And each year the competition grows. I know Vex, the guy that's our state director, sent out an email the other day and said there's over 300 teams in the state of Alabama that are now registered. And he said that is amazing. He said because it's only Alabama's 5th or 6th year to even be involved in Vex, and we're already out competing teams in states that have been competing for 10 or 20 years, that it's just awesome to know that Alabama's gotten this on fire for it.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine that. There's a lot of smarts here in Alabama.
Oh,
I know
absolutely.
people don't think that, but that's not true.
This room's full of them right now.
That's right. Absolutely. So I understand you know Kelly Ryan, or Dr. Ryan.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, we know him rather well. Now, he has come on board with another company. It's, let's see, it's now called Robotics Education.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's roboticseducation.org, and he's actually going to different places. I think he goes out to Texas sometimes, and he's actually going. He's talking to administrators about getting involved and about supplying them with grants and the parts. And I know a lot of this comes from big companies that have gotten involved in this. Northrop Grumman, I think, is one of them that has really heavily got involved in this. And I think, Bruce, I think what they're really wanting to do is get students involved in this type thing, so later on they'll have people that they can employ that is actually interested in this type technology. You know, that's really what STEM is all about. If you don't know, it's science, technology, engineering, and math. And a lot of different states now, and have been for a while, are trying to invest in students to get them more involved in science, technology, engineering, and math, obviously. And so this is a great thing. I mean, I'm really glad, because I know some kids, they go to school and it doesn't seem, nothing seems to interest them. You know, you really, if you want to really get a student's attention, you're really going to have to find something that makes them passionate about what they want to do. And, you know, a football player loves to play football. If they just practice all the time, that's not going to be fun or really enjoyable. If you play golf, you know, you got a lot of practice, but you better finally have a golf match, you know. So same thing here. Now, did I misunderstand or understand? Do you have a class now that during the school?
Last year was the very first year that we implemented it, and Pleasant Valley and White Plains both just put into the superintendent and said, hey, can we have a class? And he said, if you can fit it in your schedule, we'll do what we can. And then the county actually provided us with $1,000 that they had found just sitting on hand and said, here, try to start a class with this. Here's an operating budget to start on. And White Plains High School and Pleasant Valley High School both got the class, and 6th period every day I meet with these kids, and we're learning the engineering concepts and learning how to program and learning how to market things. And I mean, it's not just a robot. It's what's so awesome.
Right.
So we can get everybody involved. But yeah, it's every single day I meet with them now, which is such an awesome thing. And when we go to these workshops that are the one in Auburn specifically that I mentioned, we've got teachers from around the state that are showing up, and then we introduce ourselves. We're like, hey, what do you teach? Now, when I say I teach robotics, they're like, man, y'all have got a class. That's amazing. But Calhoun County itself, our central office staff has taken right into this and are the driving force behind the success that we've had.
Okay. You had a follow-up question, I think. You kind of wanted to ask.
I was going to ask if people want to get involved or volunteer time. I know you said you had an engineer from Alabama Power that did. How do they do that? And I mean, not necessarily just y'all's school, but any school in general. Is there something set up for that?
Well, if the best competition, they encourage you to have someone that can come from the outside to help these kids set this team up. Because, I mean, if you just give a bunch of kids the very first year they've ever been in a robotics competition and say, here's a bunch of stuff, build something from it, it's incredibly overwhelming. And we tried to go that route our first year, and we're about 2 weeks into competition and realize nothing we're doing is working, and it's panic mode at that point because you've got 4 weeks left. What do you do? And the lady that's on our staff, that's husband is now our cooperating engineer, she said, my husband's an engineer. She said, would it be against the rules if he came and helped? I said, well, the kids have to build it, they have to design it, but if he wants to lead that process, absolutely, get him on board. So he showed up that first year and has been with us ever since. And he takes time out of his schedule at work, and he works for Alabama Power, and they're so cooperative with him because they're one of the business partners in with the best competition. And they'll let him have time off, and he comes in and works with the kids because, I mean, that's reaching out for them too. But, yeah, I mean, if you don't have someone on your staff that can help you like that, the best people that work for Central Alabama will actually call out to mentors around the state and say, hey, we have some schools that need some help. Can you help them? And they've got that network set up through the college.
Cool.
Community outreach. Oh, like there's community outreach too, and then if you want to help, like there's aspects of the competition where you have to go out into the points. It's all about points basically. You have to go out into the community and say, can you help us? Because it takes a lot of money to do a robotics team. So we say, can you help us? And they love to be able to send us and help us because everybody likes to help kids who are trying to do something great. And we appreciate everybody who helps us. We are so thankful for everyone who spends the time to help Raider Robotics, is what we call it. So
that's awesome. Mikey?
So that was pretty good. Man, I was about threw the mic across the room. Boy, that was been ugly. After I was getting on to people for doing that, right? If Billy's listening. No, now, what about, there's a big competition out in Kentucky? No, that's not right. It's Louisville somewhere, isn't it? I was thinking.
That's the VEX Worlds is what that is.
VEX Worlds. On the world stage, as they call it.
The way the VEX competition works is different from BEST, where Brittany had mentioned the BEST format before, that we go to Talladega, we compete in our little hub, and then you go to what's called the South's BEST, which is in Auburn. And then the competition essentially ends there for BEST.
Okay.
For VEX, you have regional competitions or state competitions or just local, that you start out on the local level and build your way up. And if you qualify for state, based upon the number of teams that are entered in a state, they get certain numbers of bids to the World Championships. So if you win the state competition or place within that parameter that they're allowed to send based on the number of entries, then you get to go to the World Championships, which for the second year in a row is going to be in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah,
so and pretty close.
And there's teams from all over the world. They have teams from multiple countries, so it's pretty impressive.
Wow.
I was reading about it. So anyway, well, what about what are the size of these robots? I really didn't discuss much about that. I mean, I know we've talked a little bit. We talked a lot about them, but I was just curious about the size of something.
When you first go to the BEST competition, you have to weigh your robot and you have to put it in this. Isn't it different sizes every year? Or is it 18? 24 by 24. It's in a 24 by 24 box that you have to set it in. And it can't reach outside the box or touch the walls of the box, and it can't weigh over a certain amount of pounds. Otherwise, you get penalized and you have to fix it. So you can't go outside the box. You have to measure it actually before you compete, so you're cleared through.
Yeah. So when you say reach out, it can't have an arm that would reach outside the box or anything like that.
It can.
Well, it can eventually.
Yes.
But the way they test it is you have to turn the robot on.
Okay.
So that there's no autonomous thing that the arm opens up or it rises up above a certain height limit. That in the on mode and in resting position, it has to be within 24 by 24 by 24 inches. And then the weight limit, 24 pounds is the general best rule, and then in VEX, it's based upon the game that you're playing. That one does change each year. But
okay, all right. So how many are you hoping to get in? A lot, I'm sure, but have you got an idea of how many you're getting involved in, say, VEX IQ this year? Or I know you were hoping to get into VEX IQ. Have you got an idea of?
Our class that we have this year, we have 18 people that are in the class now, and probably 10 of the 18 are 7th and 8th grade students. And
okay.
it stops. That competition stops at 8th grade.
Right.
So we've got the older kids that are helping to kind of mentor these young ones and get them involved, and then they're going to have a competition of their own. So it's a pretty awesome thing for the kids, I think.
Helps you reach out to other grades.
They're probably going to be doing the one where they have to bank shot something, I think.
Yeah, they will.
That's how that would work. Okay. All right. Well, cool. That's great.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. We really appreciate it. Now, where can someone go to help? I mean, was there an online? I know, do you have a FundMe?
Okay, we have a GoFundMe, and he said you're going to put the link with it. We also have a Instagram and Twitter, and we have a Facebook too. And it's called Raider Robotics, RAIDER Robotics.
Okay, so if you just go to those social medias and you search for Raider Robotics,
you can find us. And we have a Twitter, like I said, an Instagram, and we post our progress throughout the year. What?
And our website.
Oh, we do have a website too.
Oh,
You have to create
website.
a website. Another part of the competition. More points.
Oh, okay. Now, what is the website, if you know it?
RaiderRobotics.weebly.com.
Okay. It's a Weebly address.
Yes, it's
All
a
right,
Weebly.
Great. RaiderRobotics.weebly.com. There you go. www, right?
Yes.
Guru?
You're right.
Yep, www.
Well, look, we want to thank you so much for
Thank you
being
for having
here,
us.
Brittany
Thank you.
and Adam. And tell Hannah
Hannah, wonder where she is.
that we missed the marketing director, right?
Oh, she would have went crazy over marketing. She loves it.
Well,
We'll have to bring her back on later. We'll have to give a progress report later on in the season.
Come midway through the year and tell you how we're doing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, look, we are glad to have you here tonight, and thank you so much for being a part of the Hey Techies Show.
Thank you.
And we hope you've had a great time. And Bruce, is there anything you'd like to close us out with?
I was just going to say, get ready for our number dose.
Yeah, it's coming up. We got about, I think we're real close.
Yeah.
So.
We do it every time.
Yeah, I know. Our number dose. Well, the Hey Techies Show will roll on in just a minute. So you are listening to WLJS, Jacksonville, Alabama, and we want to thank the Pleasant Valley High School robotics team for being with us. Thank you so much. Be right back.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. A federal judge is ordering a Kentucky clerk to jail for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples in Rowan County. Sherry Lawson of member station WNKU reports Clerk Kim Davis has been found in contempt of court.
Judge David Bunning is ordering Kim Davis into custody, saying she could be released as soon as she's willing to resume issuing marriage licenses. The announcement followed a nearly 2-hour proceeding in a federal courtroom where Davis and her deputy clerks were ordered to appear. Since the June Supreme Court decision making gay marriage legal across the nation, Davis has consistently stated she's unable to provide the licenses because it would violate her religious beliefs in opposition to same-sex marriage. She had refused to issue any marriage licenses during this period. Cheers erupted outside the courthouse after the ruling, where more than 100 protesters gathered. For NPR News, I'm Sherry Lawson in Northern Kentucky.
Police in Santa Clara, California have arrested 3 Corrections Department deputies in connection with the beating death of a mentally ill inmate last week. Authorities say the arrests come amid confirmation 31-year-old Michael James Tyree died as a result of injuries he sustained last week in a cell at the county jail. Santa Clara County Sheriff Lori Smith says the arrest of the 3 corrections deputies and Tyree's death was a difficult thing to announce.
It pains me and every member of the Sheriff's Office and every member of within our law enforcement community, because those who are sworn to protect and serve lose their moral compass and commit criminal acts.
Smith says Tyree was in protective custody wing of the Santa Clara County main jail after being arrested for misdemeanor drug possession. Medical examiner's office says Tyree died of internal bleeding from multiple blunt force injuries. The U.S. grand jury has indicted a London-based day trader for causing the 2010 flash crash when stock prices mysteriously plunged. NPR's Jim Zaroli reports he's being charged with market manipulation.
The Justice Department says Navinder Sarao used an automatic trading program to purchase futures contracts that would drive prices up or down. Then he canceled the trades and bought other shares more cheaply. The practice is known as spoofing. And officials say that in May 2010, it caused the Dow Jones Industrial Average to plummet by 600 points in the space of a few minutes. It then corrected itself. The Justice Department announced it would file criminal charges against Sorrell back in April. Sorrell, who lives in London, was in jail in Britain until last month. The U.S. is attempting to extradite him. Jim Zaroli, NPR News, New York.
The number of people filing first-time jobless claims was up slightly last week, though according to the Labor Department, the total number of filings remains near historic lows. Government numbers released today ahead of the much more closely followed monthly jobs figures due out tomorrow show first-time applications up by 12,000 to a seasonally adjusted 288,000. A mixed close on Wall Street today. The Dow was up 23 points to 16,374. The Nasdaq was down 16 points. This is NPR.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip, unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jam, unlock it, surf it, scroll it, pause it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, technologic. Technologic.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. What a great first hour, Bruce.
It was really good, but I'm glad to be back in my chair.
He's glad to be back in his chair.
I was a little out of my element there.
Bruce was out of his chair.
Didn't have a mic in front of me. Wasn't in my chair.
Hey, now that the Hey Techies Show rolls on, don't forget
256-782-5600,
and you can be on the show. We had caller Daniel last week, and we talked about a phone, and maybe he'll call at some point
and give us an update.
Giving us update.
Don't forget questions at HeyTechiesShow.com. Right. Go to HeyTechiesShow.com. Got links to YouTube, Twitter, YouTube.
Do we have Facebook?
Facebook,
Bookface.
Yeah, all that good stuff. So go out there and connect with us.
Yeah.
Man, I would love to be a kid again and go back through high school, and I wish I had that opportunity.
Let me just say this.
You're a kid now. What are you talking about?
Let me say this. Let me just say this. I'm an alumni of Oxford High School, and a couple weeks ago they had an open house. They built a new career tech building, and it was open to the public. So I said, I'm going to go check it out on Sunday afternoon. And let me just say, there are so many opportunities in schools, not just at Oxford, but like at Pleasant Valley, too. There's so many opportunities now for kids to get involved in something, because not every kid is athletic. That every kid wants to play an instrument. There's something now they can be involved in and help them learn and realize, do I want to do this for a living?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as far as being a kid again. I mean, if you're even a elementary, like close to middle school age student, especially if you're in high school and you're not involved in something, you're not doing yourself any favors. So you need to get involved in that stuff. Find something, it's going to benefit you in the future. And man, something like that, just in the STEM field, because I mean, that's where the future's at. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still need teachers and we still need police officers and stuff like that, but I mean, that is the big push right now.
Yeah, there's a big deficit in STEM related,
especially women in the field.
Yeah,
yes.
and if you want to know more about that, we've got a lot of links that I saved, and we and Guru will post them in a section in our show notes for this type of stuff that you can get involved in. And if you want to learn more about the competitions, it's got all kind of wonderful information there. We'll add in the Wikipedia thing that Bruce was talking about.
I was like, let's read about this. I was amazed.
Point to that. So just so you know, you can go at some point between today and tomorrow, whenever me and Guru are able to work it up, and see all those links. And two, tonight's show is recorded. And it'll be right for you to listen to again for YouTube. So you don't have to wait for me to get the podcast up later tonight. So
I want to just kind of quickly talk about show notes. I want to give Michael some credit for doing the show notes last week, because as soon as we got off the air, I had to go back to work till 11 o'clock. We're having major issues with some parts of the system I'm responsible for. So, I mean, I didn't get home till nearly midnight.
I know you were texting me.
Yeah, so thank you, Michael.
Oh, no problem. Those. I enjoyed it.
So since we mentioned Facebook and one of the places you can see us, and everybody knows how much I hate social media.
Yeah, well, but
can we start off with my Facebook story?
Of course we can.
They want to redline your friends list. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
Basically, they filed a patent, and I think they've been working on it for a few years, but it's going to be, I guess, a service they can sell to banks. Of course, it's going to be part of your free Facebook subscription, but they will start to use all their massive data to help banks determine whether you're credit worthy. So you may have a great credit score, but say the people you're friends with or you're associated with don't have a great credit score. So the bank sees that as a risk. Say, somebody that posts on your wall all the time defaults, and they'll be like, well, you hang
out with people socially that default, so you might.
Yeah, and not even socially, on Facebook. Which
social networking.
Yeah, social networking, which isn't always equal to what happens in real life.
I agree.
So, it's going to be interesting how that plays out.
So what kind of traction do you think this is going to have?
Oh, I mean, research shows that people are more likely to seek out friends who are like themselves.
Yeah, I know that. I guess what I'm asking is, where is this just an idea that's being tossed around, or do you think this is a traction?
No, I think they're gonna go with this. It's something they can make money off of. Banks,
I know.
Banks have money and they have information.
Yes,
that the banks want.
I know about banks.
So yeah, I know you know about banks.
I know about banks.
So one person you want to be with friends on Facebook.
Yeah,
but
that's interesting. I did not know that.
It's very, the U.S. already has a bad reputation when it comes to the history of how they demographics of your community determine your credit worthiness. There's been some past issues that banks have gotten in trouble with, and I'm just kind of curious how that's going to play out, because the banks really don't care. They just want to lower their risk, and it may not equate to where that they're actually lowering their risk. They may have not given out a good loan because I know some idiot that's friends with me on Facebook. So that's why I don't have a Facebook. Not just that, but that's one of the many.
So Bruce's continued rant on social media.
It won't be the last.
No, that's what I said. Continued. And to be continued.
And to be continued.
And speaking of that, how about more than 225,000 Apple iPhone accounts hacked, Guru?
But it only affects it if you jailbreak your phone.
So they say.
Well, it also appears that it's mostly affected what Guru was talking about. Not only jailbroken iPhones, but a particular site is where you can go to jailbreak the phone is where they're getting the key raider software, which is actually stealing all the data for the hackers.
So it's kind of jailbreak newbies are getting in trouble.
I think that it could be with that kind of number.
And here's the thing on the Apple ecosystem. Apple, and this is public knowledge, they vet all the apps that go through the official Apple App Store. And when you develop an app for iOS, if you do it, in the up and up through their mechanisms and through, you take it through their App Store, you can only but you can only utilize the Apple APIs to interface with a device. You can't just, arbitrarily start doing stuff that these malicious apps are doing. So if you jailbreak your device, you have a right to jailbreak your device.
That's right.
You're putting yourself at risk on the iOS platform.
And people that do that should know that.
Yes.
Anytime and I agree, you should have the right to alter it any way you want, but just know that you're taking a risk, and don't hold whatever company that is that made that device say, well, now my device is not working because I screwed it up.
They told you not to.
It's just like on a pre-Windows 10.
They suggested.
You had every right
that's
to.
the thing they should suggest.
Here's the thing. On Windows, pre-Windows 10 on a PC, you had every right not to run antivirus. That's your right.
Yeah.
Now, you can do it at your own risk. And you can safely use a Windows device without antivirus. But if you go to the wrong website or download the wrong file and open it,
and that's true for Mac and for Windows.
Oh yeah, I'm just using that as an example.
Sure you are.
Sure you are.
So just pick on Guru Hour.
No.
Well, now we talked about this for just a few minutes. We were kind of we're really not collaborators. I mean, we don't have a sit-down meeting we're really not.
Especially not this time of the year.
I know, but we're just so busy. But even that, we sort of, I think we talked about this before. We do better just just doing it. Just going in here and reading the story, and things come up, and just on the fly.
This is our collaboration session, everybody.
We're actually having the collaboration while you're listening to the show. It comes live.
We wait for your calls.
But this in the article that we're referring to, it says this, or this is written: the hackers have uploaded software that let other people purchase iTunes apps for free using the victims' accounts. So about 20,000 people up to when this was written have downloaded the software that lets them steal from the 225,000 affected iPhone owners. So there are 20,000 at least people knowingly stealing from the hacked phone information.
So when you say that, I thought about this. I don't know what that process is on, like, how do I sign up maybe, or how do I get get this information? But it would be really ingenious for those hackers to be like, all right, we're gonna get this, and then we're gonna bait these new people with this information,
and then hack their stuff. Well,
and it just be a non-ending thing.
Now that is a good point.
Maybe that's what they're doing. If not, they should be. You heard my idea. I get all the profits.
Yeah,
the dirty profits.
Oh my goodness! I am so sorry that you.
Because if I don't, Apple's gonna get them.
Here we go. Our show is heavily loaded with Apple at the first, and Facebook apparently.
Yeah. Well.
So anyway.
Well, we can swap to Google and their new exciting logo.
Yes.
I don't really know what to say more beyond this. They've just done some rebranding. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, they're the G.
The G.
They're the G in Alphabet.
Google is now the G unit of the A to Z company.
Yeah, they are.
So,
you've seen everybody who's anybody, and even some people who are not, has seen the logo. You can't miss it.
Yeah. Well, they have.
Guru called it flat.
It is flat.
It's a flat logo. It don't look like it's.
So it's actually competing with Apple on iOS, right?
Everything,
the flatness.
Everything's going flat.
Which I don't
Flat's
really
the
understand.
new.
This show's
black.
going flat right now.
No, it's not.
Flat. Yeah, I'm just saying flat. It seems like everything was embossed and then textured and then.
Flat is where it's at.
There we go. A tagline.
Guru's all about that bass.
Be right back. Hey Techies Show.
Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn is a proud patron of WLJS 91.9 FM. Located at 215 Pelham Road, Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn has everything you need from TVs, laptops, CDs, video games, and much more. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and 10 to 3 on Saturdays, Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn is ready to get you cash in a flash. For more info on Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn, call 256-435-8806. As a proud patron of WLJS, On Time Fashion is Oxford's #1 stop for menswear. With top labels like Hustle Gang, LRG, and 8732, and with top lines for suits and ties, there is no need to shop anyplace else. Located at 527 South Quinshart Avenue, On Time Fashion is open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 7 p.m. For more information, call 256-831-9444 or like them on Facebook at On Time Fashion.
Looking to cure that sweet tooth of yours? Mad Hatter Cupcake Shop is now proudly serving the Jacksonville area at their new location at 16 Public Square on the Square. Mad Hatter is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9 p.m. and they are closed on Sunday and Monday. For additional information, be sure to check out their Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Mad Hat Cupcakes, and their website, www.madhatcakes.com.
Wise Guys Pizzeria and Bar is ready to satisfy your taste buds with a wide variety of pizza and other Italian treats. Located at 7113 US 431 Alexandria, Alabama, they are open Monday through Saturdays from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. For more information, like them on Facebook or call 256-820-0888. Wise Guys Pizzeria and Bar is a proud patron of WLJS.
Love it when we play my songs. Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. we got your PSA for the day.
Yes. Do you want to be a 2016 Gamecock orientation leader? If so, listen up. Applications are available online under the Student Life forms on the Office of Student Life page. Students applying must have completed one full academic year at JSU and must be able to work May, June, July, and August of 2016. Applications can be turned in to the Office of Student Life in room 402 of the TMB and are due by October the 9th.
There's your PSA for the day.
So we left off the show at our break that we were talking about the alphabet soup that Google has come up with.
Or that they're now a part of.
Yeah, but it was Google.
It was Google.
I mean, you can't...
Yeah,
at some
it's
point,
everybody. I'm still always going to call it Google.
At some point, they're like slicing atoms here, are we not?
Yeah. Well, I will say this. Since we're talking about A to Z, and I don't have any notes on this. This is just something that I read the other day. But Nest, which I guess is going to be the N, which is Google owned, but now part of A to Z.
Yes.
Or
Alphabet.
Sorry, Alphabet.
Yes.
They're coming out with a new Nest. So
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you going to replace your Nest?
I've just about got my brother-in-law talking about one, and it really changes nothing. It's just a little bit slimmer, has a bigger screen, which really doesn't matter because you never touch it. That's kind of the whole point. But I'm wondering if I'm going to read a little bit more and see if they've beefed up some of the hardware because I mean, this is going to be part of the whole Internet of Things that this is going to function with all of that stuff. So. I'm sure they're gonna beef up some of the processing to handle.
Yeah, my whole thing on this is I saw that I was thinking now you have to replace your thermostat every like 2 years.
Yeah, that's just
you don't have to. I mean, I can keep mine and it'll.
But at some
last.
point, you're gonna lose. It's not gonna be supported by them.
Maybe,
it's
but it's
like,
already paid for itself. I'll tell you that. And actually, a lot of power companies around the United States are giving their customers Nest.
Oh yeah.
Well, what about
no question
Power?
about it, because one day they're going to try to control it to leave it at a certain temperature all the time for you.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. You're the one with the account. They can't. Now, if they do it and they have,
you gotta be kidding me. You're a smart guy.
I know
you
I'm a
know
smart
this stuff
guy.
can be taken over and hacked. Come on,
it can be taken out too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, then your air doesn't work at all without a thermostat.
Then that's why you go solar.
I'm not
and get
trying
Tesla
to be one of these conspiracy guys. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying.
You're wearing the conspiracy pants tonight.
I apparently am, but not intentionally.
Yeah.
But I'm making a point. I think I've made it that everything doesn't have to be connected. You be careful.
Oh yeah, I
think
totally
there's
agree
some
with
danger in that.
Oh, I agree. But I'm connecting everything. I'm just kidding.
And
I'm just kidding.
And I didn't say that. Hey, this is an update to a story.
Okay.
This story's an update. If you are a long-time listener of the show, you know that we got into a small discussion about drones and airplanes. And Bruce made it pretty clear that they were confusing drones with RC units, which I'm not here to discuss whether he was right or wrong on that because he had some valid points. But how about Apple stores now? They are stocking professional drones. Did you know there was such a thing, Bruce, as a professional drone?
Yes, and I've looked at this whenever I wanted to get into it, and I had a buddy that wanted to get into it. For entry market, it's definitely outside of most people's
it's not
range.
an entry market. It's It's $1,300.
I'm saying if you're trying to get in, and they're more expensive ones like $3,000 or $5,000.
Hey, it shoots 4K video. Ooh. I mean, at $4,000, at $1,200, $1,300, it better shoot 4K video. I'm going to buy a TV that has 4K for that.
The controller has an iPad on it. It's, the little control thing. It's got an iPad.
Oh, well,
so that's why it's
if
in
it's
Apple.
sold in an Apple store, it's got to be controlled by an iOS
that's the whole reason
device.
it's an Apple
It'd
store.
be illegal to be controlled by anything else. What are you talking about?
Plus, it's very expensive, like everything else in the Apple store.
Here's the update.
Overpriced.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Here's the update, folks. If you were listeners to this show and you follow the show, you're going to get this. Get this. This drone can fly at an altitude of 3.7 miles.
In the air.
Above sea level.
And what is that in feet?
That's 19,685 feet above sea level. Now, I'm thinking a plane, a big jumbo jet, can fly at that level too. Probably goes up through that level.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm thinking that they are not telling stories about seeing these drones.
Yeah, if one of those drones gets in the engine, you better have Captain Sully there to land it.
So
That's all I'm saying.
When you're listening to this show, you're listening to the cutting edge of what we talk about, and we bring you back up to date and tell you, hey, see, we told you that this is happening.
So.
Yeah.
But most people that are going to buy these
are going to buy the little RC stuff sold on Woot.com.
No, I'm just going to say they're going to have the FCC license.
Yeah.
I mean,
really? They're going to have an FCC license?
Man, maybe.
Are they going to have an Android watch and an Android?
Maybe. FAA license, because this is going to be for what? I'm not saying somebody's not. Actually,
no.
There was a consumer that whenever I was at the beach during
Yeah?
spring break, there was a guy that had one, and I was
Yeah.
like, people down here have too much money.
Bruce is bothered by people's too much money.
Well, I mean, he was having fun with it.
Well,
so
good.
Whatever.
I think drones are cool. I think I said it the other day, but I do. There's no doubt there's
And
issues.
across at the beach, the military flies those planes pretty low.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It'd be good target practice for them.
For real.
Oh man, one of their rounds would do more damage to something else than just that drone.
I can see those
I don't know. What kind of
right through it.
Yeah, and then into a few more people.
Well, I can see these Air Force guys. I'll talk with, like, if you take out the drone, like I'm buying, round at the.
I'm buying rounds after this if you can hit it one shot.
They could just fly by it with their jets and probably burn it out of the sky.
Absolutely.
Yeah, send it into a rotational orbit or something. Man. Anyway, so you've got some more stuff here that was fairly interesting, Bruce.
I'm glad you think it was fairly
interesting. Just fairly interesting.
So we'll stick with media for a little bit.
Sure.
Amazon Prime Video now does what Netflix won't, offline playback. And Netflix actually said a while back that they would never have offline playback. And I don't know if that's because they just didn't want to do it, or if maybe there was they never thought they'd be able to work out
the technical details to it.
Well,
probably.
I would say more the legal details.
That's true.
So
the legalities of it. Yeah.
The technicality, I'm sure they're not worried about, because with Google Play videos, you can rent and you can download, watch it offline. I think. Don't quote me on that. Maybe I'm just not real connected to the internet. No, you absolutely can.
I think you can. Can't you?
Yes, you absolutely can. I know you can, because we attempted to see if we could circumvent the DRM on it and play on a different device. We were just testing
for academic purposes.
Academic purposes, absolutely. Security research.
So did that work?
We didn't have enough time, but just moving it did not work, and we were going to do some other stuff, but ran out of time.
Right.
But anyway, so Amazon's also, I guess, rebranding or dropping the clunky Instant on their Amazon Instant Prime Video, which to me that's going to be confusing. Which it's kind of already confusing when they call it that anyway, because some stuff on Prime I can stream right there, or I can purchase.
Yeah, and you go through their app, even if you do it like on the website or through an app or through the smart television.
Yeah,
you can search and like, oh great, it's on there, but then it's like you got to pay for it. I'm like, oh, I didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, I can watch season 1 through 3, but not 4. But my 2-year-old loves to purchase stuff that's not in the.
Of course.
And I've got to call him and say.
It's not her money.
Yeah, it's not. And I've got to call him and say, hey, look, I don't know why, because I've got it blocked where you have to put in a code to approve it. But yet again, my 2-year-old has bought a movie, and I need you to remove that.
Sounds like they didn't test that code very well.
Yeah. I
this is Amazon.
Amazon. But, I mean, it's always really quick, but it's just kind of a hassle to have to call them and say, hey, look.
Well, I know that they've made a lot of strides in having quite the collection to view to watch.
Oh yeah, I mean they have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I know Netflix is it is what it is.
But even though they're going head to head on this stuff, Amazon, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, Mozilla, and other partners have partnered to create a next gen video format. So they're working on. Of course, they're all independently working on their own stuff, but they've kind of come together to form the Alliance for Open Media, and they're doing this under the Apache 2 license and will operate under the W3C patent rules, meaning that members will waive royalties for the codec implementations and their patents on the codec itself. So right now they pay for the MPEG LA license. So anytime that any of those formats are used, those companies have to pay for that. So they're kind of like, look, let's work together, make it better, and save us some money all at the same time.
Right.
So there's a point where you hate open source, and you say it can't work.
Well, no,
and it's not possible. That
I said the frill side.
Yeah, I guess.
A
But I
lot
mean,
of
that's gonna be some frills. But that's because you have money backers that have interest.
Yeah, because they're doing some groundwork to make some money on the back end.
Yeah.
Come on. You can't tell me they don't.
Well,
they're
I'm just saying.
it may be open source,
but
I'm
if it wasn't for
the
the Apache and W3C, I mean, I guess they just create their own. But that already laid the groundwork for them to be able to do that. That's just what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Well, you could say in one way, Apple's doing the same thing.
Well, yeah,
not open source.
Oh no, they're
but
not on that.
But what I'm getting at is with their iOS and with their other, they're actually giving the software away if you have their device. I mean, they're not charging you, so they're making money in a different way.
Oh yeah,
they're a hardware company.
Yeah, I know, but
that's what they say.
And Cisco's a software company.
Oh, exactly.
I know. We've talked about this before.
And Microsoft doesn't know what they are.
Yeah, man.
They just want to be a company.
They just want to. Yeah.
They want to be able to have a job tomorrow.
Speaking of jobs, man, God, these are great setups. Y'all are doing amazing.
Well, sound like we rehearsed this and everything.
Yeah, and the talent finally got here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's you who don't have it ready.
So speaking of jobs,
yes.
HP told some employees, and this isn't really, I mean, it's a tech company, and it's not really tech news.
Yes.
But HP told some employees to choose between becoming contractors with no benefits or being fired without severance. So we'll have that in the show notes. Not going to go in it too much. Just know HP, they're trying to cut some costs, but it's really, over the past year, they've spent billions of dollars doing it, and it's not really working.
Hey Techies Show. Be right back.
Wise Guys Pizzeria and Bar is ready to satisfy your taste buds with a wide variety of pizza and other Italian treats. Located at 7113 US 431 Alexandria, Alabama, they are open Monday through Saturdays from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. For more information, like them on Facebook or call 256-820-0888. Wise Guys Pizzeria and Bar is a proud patron of WLJS.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
Jacksonville Bookstore offers supplies for school all throughout the year. From books to binders, pencils to scantrons, Jacksonville Bookstore has it all. They are open Monday through Saturday with convenient hours and location on 302 Mountain Street Northwest in Jacksonville. To find out more, like them on Facebook or call 256-435-7407. Jacksonville Bookstore, a proud patron of WLJS.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. So glad to have all of you here with us. And, of course, this is our rumor segment. I know it's hard to tell what it was based on the song.
Of course not.
Yes. Well, Guru, do you have some rumors tonight?
Yes, I do.
And none of them have to do with Apple.
Oh, yeah, shockingly, they don't.
Shockingly, they all have to do with Apple. But that is, I mean, look, let's face it.
We're heading into Apple announcement season, I guess you can call it.
September 9th.
Christmas.
Christmas, yes. For many, that's for sure.
You know, last week we talked about the rumored Apple TV.
Yes.
The week before we talked about the rumored Apple iPhone 6S, 6S Plus. Well, this week I found some information may shun about the rumored iPad Pro.
Right. Which is an interesting.
Yeah, I got some.
It's got some
and
interesting
I've got
specs.
I got some specs here. We'll run down through real quick. It's supposed to be similar to the iPad Air 2. Now, let me just say this: they've got to do something better with the naming, because like iPad Air 2, iPad Mini 4. I mean, I can't keep up. But anyway, it's similar to, I guess, the latest iPad Air and the Mini. It's just bigger. It's 12 inches by 9 inches by 7 millimeters.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really thin.
Yeah, so it's going to be a larger screen than the normal iPads. Even the largest one currently, I think is the Air 2. Anyway, larger screen. It's supposed to have a 12.9-inch screen at 2732 by 2048 pixels with 264 pixels per inch. So that's supposed to be a very high resolution.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I'm not going to try that. It's also rumored to have Force Touch, which is why it's also rumored in the iPhone 6S. And so I keep wanting to say something else, but it's 6S. Anyway,
Yes.
it's called Force Touch.
The new one.
The new one. The
Some
new
people
one.
want to call it 7.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's the next one. But
Anyway, here's something interesting. There is also rumored a Force Touch enabled stylus.
Saw that. Oh,
this would be a first for Apple.
Yeah, stylus.
Kind of
that would be.
So we'll see
reply
if
to the Surface Pro 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
2.
A Force Touch enabled style. I thought the whole thing was, you can write with your finger.
Yeah, I know, but that's rumored. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going with that rumor's not true.
Yeah. Anyway,
that doesn't sound like Apple.
Oh no, let's leave it.
They're adding a microphone and a speaker to the top as well as the bottom to help improve the listening, picking up your voice experience.
And this is the iPad Pro.
iPad Pro. Yes.
1.
Yeah, 1.
iPad Pro 1.
The first generation.
So just wait.
And just like what Apple's doing on all their other mobile devices, it's rumored to have Touch ID, where you can use your fingerprint to unlock and to buy stuff and all that fun stuff. Also,
spending money, that's fun.
Yeah.
For some people it is.
Yeah, as long
as not for me, but some people it is. Rumored to have the A9 processor, which is the same processor in the phones. The new phones coming out. Go ahead, Michael.
Do you really believe it's going to have NFC? They have hated NFC. They have been so anti-NFC company.
Well, NFC, that's how Apple Pay works.
Yeah, but
look how long it took them to get to that.
Well,
but
you're gonna hold up a 12-inch screen. This is a 13-inch Mac, but you're gonna hold this up to the register to pay. But
you ever been in any like elementary school graduations or all them people holding their iPads
hold up like this? Yeah,
I need to record.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's true.
Rumored to have NFC.
Like
Here's something that I think will be true: is USB-C
Yeah,
support. I think
I
Apple's going to finally move to a standard and not use their own proprietary connector for crying out loud.
And I will give Apple this. Thank you for pushing the USB-C.
Yes,
they're finally getting to the point where they're being bleeding edge instead of generation behind on stuff. On stuff. On some stuff.
Now,
but they've used all these proprietary connectors.
Well, yeah, but
I'm glad they're using something as a standard.
They went right after Thunderbolt, so you can't.
I mean, I'm saying they had started.
I mean, very few other companies have even come close to trying to implement.
But all their other mobile devices for the main connection was that 30-pin Apple connector. Then they went to the Lightning connector, which is again a proprietary connector.
Yeah,
but I'm
that's
glad they're going to something more open and standard.
But that's to be expected. I mean,
yeah.
Well, I wonder if that's. I think it was the FCC that they had some was putting some pressure about trying to standardize connections to cut down on the amount of, I guess, tech garbage. As far as the whenever you got a new phone, there was a different charger and stuff like that. So.
And I think over in the EU and in Europe, there's a lot of Apple's got under fire for using proprietary connector instead of a standard.
Yeah.
So this is probably trying to get towards that. So good job, Apple, on USB-C.
Yeah.
If it comes
I'll
true.
give them kudos for that.
So that's basically the rumors.
That's
about it.
No, I was saying the kudos I'd give to Apple. That's about it.
That's about it. Okay.
The kudos he's giving. Well, there is rumored some Apple TV stuff.
Yeah, but real quick, this iPad Pro is not expected to be released until November, so I don't know if it'll be talked about next week at the Apple event or not. But that's the rumor, so we'll see. Now, what are you saying about Apple TV now?
Well, there's been some discussion that they're still believe a lot of people have been talking about the Apple TV, the next generation, and boy, there's been a lot more discussion about what it might have on it, and are we going to see it? Price points. No 9 to 5 Mac suggests $150 to $200 for a new price point on the Apple TV.
It better do a whole lot of stuff.
Well,
for
it's
that
saying
price.
that it's going to have do more searchability than it's ever done before.
Search.
And aren't they? Oh yeah, we talked about that last week. The
motion,
the redesigned remote,
maybe with motion sensor,
and not doing 4K, and
but all I gotta say
memory.
is that at $150, that right now I think it's $79, but the Apple TV has been $99 for a long time.
Yeah.
It better do a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah,
because
look at all the stuff they're competing with now. Chromecast is $35. Roku is how much?
They started like
saying
40.
that a full A8 chipset have more capabilities than maybe earlier models, included gaming possibly, featured universal search. According to a FoxNews.com article, sources familiar with Apple's plans say that the cornerstone of the company's new set-top box is a universal search feature that will enable searches across multiple streaming video services, as well as Apple's iTunes Store. Instead of searching the catalog of multiple video services one at a time for a particular movie, you'll be able to search them all.
Well, I'll tell you this: if they plan on releasing it in the enterprise, I hope they have worked with Cisco on their deal of fixing their networking issues.
Well, I think we saw an article or read something about how they work with Cisco. They don't. That's the one they want to work with. They don't.
I don't know if it's dealing with this specifically, but yeah, I did see that because they've been bitter rivals forever. Because they, years ago, Cisco had an iPhone product before the iPhone existed for Apple, and Apple went after them, or Cisco went after them, or something.
I think you're thinking of the iOS name.
No.
Okay.
It was the term iPhone. Cisco had a product called iPhone before the Apple iPhone.
Oh yeah,
came out,
yeah.
And there was a lawsuit, and there's been bitterness.
Well,
ever
they've had
since.
a lawsuit too about the iOS because Cisco's OS is iOS, and I forget whatever came
That's
of
right.
that.
But anyway, they are starting to kind of play nice now, I guess you can say.
Play nice.
Well, speaking of all that stuff, one thing you should be aware of is right now the FCC is considering a proposal to require manufacturers to lock down computing devices, routers, PCs, phones, to prevent modification if they have a modular wireless radio, which I guess now everything is modular.
Yeah.
To some extent, I can take it apart.
So does that mean like if you buy like a certain brand model of router, you can't hack it?
Yep.
You can't put like DDWRT on it?
Absolutely. That's what.
And I probably lost half the audience by saying that.
A lot of the EFF is really coming out, and there's a lot of other groups like they're saying that's going to restrict installation of alternate operating systems on your PC like Linux, OpenBSD, FreeBSD. Prevent research into advanced wireless technologies, ban installation of custom firmware, which I don't know because I know they've gone back and forth on this when it was the whole jailbreaking thing.
Yeah,
for a long time it was illegal because they said it was a violation of the DMCA, and then they were like, well, you do have the right to alter that, and then it went back to you don't, and then they were like, well, you do, and I think right now we're at the point the law says you do. So I think this is another thing that they're like, you don't. And they're putting it's going to cover a broader spectrum of devices.
I wonder if this is ever going to be in terms of service or EULA, inside the EULA or the terms of service, whether or not you can do that or not.
I'm sure it's already in there.
Yeah. But I imagine it's just something they don't enforce, but could, if they felt like it.
Oh, well, Apple tries to enforce it.
Yeah, they do.
But, and, even John Deere tries to enforce it. You think I'm joking?
No, I don't. I never think you're joking, Bruce.
Think I'm joking, but it's a sad.
Well, we're going to go ahead and cut the break so we'll have some time on the back end.
That's right.
So
stay with us. Hey Techies Show.
We don't have much longer. Y'all better stay tuned. Be right back.
Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn is a proud partner of WLJS 91.9 FM. Located at 215 Pelham Road, Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn has everything you need from TVs, laptops, CDs, video games, and much more. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and 10 to 3 on Saturdays, Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn is ready to get you cash in a flash. For more info on Gamecock Jewelry and Pawn, call 256-435-8806. Wise Guys Pizzeria and Bar is ready to satisfy your taste buds with a wide variety of pizza and other Italian treats. Located at 7113 US 431 Alexandria, Alabama, they are open Monday through Saturdays from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. For more information, like them on Facebook or call 256-820-0888. Wise Guys Pizzeria and Bar is a proud patron of WLJS. As a proud patron of WLJS, On Time Fashion is Oxford's #1 stop for menswear. With top labels like Hustle Gang, LRG, and 8732, and with top lines for suits and ties, there is no need to shop anyplace else. Located at 527 South Quintard Avenue, On Time Fashion is open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 7 p.m. For more information, call 256-831-9444 or like them on Facebook at On Time Fashion.
Jacksonville Tan is a proud patron of WLJS, serving Jacksonville and surrounding areas since 1987. At their location at 115 Francis Street East, next to Walgreens. Jacksonville Tan knows a thing or two about healthy glow, offering 16 tanning beds and virtually no wait times. A great tan is never out of the question. For more info, call them at 256-435-1770.
There you go. Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. Hey, the Hey Techies Show is in the know. What are you talking about?
Have we played this song before?
Well, I think you tried one. Y'all may have.
Or we were planning on putting it in for somebody.
I think we've played this one before.
Okay.
I think.
Was that the surprise?
But yeah, here's the funny thing, because you can't hear what's going on during the break, but I see that coming up next on the Jazzler, because Michael sets all the songs most weeks, and I say it, and Bruce has his headphones, they're noise canceling, so he didn't hear what I say. He's like, "What did you just say? What did you say?" And it's like, it's a surprise. So it was the look on your face, Bruce, was priceless.
Awesome
when you heard the song start playing.
Yeah. So this time of the show is those who've been paying attention and watching.
I'm on the show and I don't even know.
And we appreciate it so much.
This week in
tech history
with Guru.
The Guru.
But before I get started, I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my coworkers, Greg. He's probably still listening to the show and working right now because,
thanks, Greg.
Yeah, somebody in IT has to be here, so when they're working on refunds for students, in case something goes wrong with the system. So Greg is the chosen one. So thank you, Greg.
Hopefully nothing's.
And on behalf of the students, I know the students are appreciative of those refunds that are coming.
Yes, I'm sure they are.
Thank you, Greg, for staying late, so the rest of us didn't have to. Anyway, this week in tech history, September 2nd, 1993. That's 22 years ago. The world's first primitive web search engine was started. Did you know that, Michael?
I can't say that I do. I bet I didn't know this little fact.
Yeah. It was known as the W3 catalog or the CUI www catalog.
I know they used to have like a yellow pages that you could thumb through.
Yeah, this was the first like web search engine. It was started by I'm gonna butcher this name, Oscar
De La Hoya. No, I'm just kidding.
Help me, Michael. You're better at this than I am.
I'm not.
I haven't a clue what that would be.
Straza.
That's it.
At the Centre Université des Informational CUI of the University of Geneva. That's who started this web route, this search engine. The site lasted for about 3 years before more modern search engines began appearing.
There you go.
So that was the first search engine 22 years ago today. This week. I'm sorry.
This week, September 2nd.
So
it was yesterday.
Yeah.
22 years ago.
22 years ago.
Well, we got through Netflix discussions, and I forgot to mention something.
What's that?
Did you see where on Netflix now you can get the first season? You can get the first season of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh, no way.
Yes, it's coming
on
out
Netflix.
Yeah, this September. So anyway, well, we need to cut over to our overclock stack. Overclock stack.
Bruce had to step out, so I'll
Ready to go.
Ready to go. Yeah, Bruce is trying to handle something. So how about this, Guru? Dartmouth football introduces robotic tackling dummies to help curb concussions.
Seriously,
that they have designed. They have a Thayer School of Engineering, and at Dartmouth, and they've engineered now what they call a mobile virtual player. And the point of the dummies is to provide the players, defense mostly, something they can tackle without hurting their starters in a way, I guess, and trying not to get concussions.
Yeah,
And,
I can see that from a practice standpoint, but I mean, there's still that risk when they actually play for real, and I don't know. Anyway,
Why? All of a sudden, I'm offline.
Yeah, that AP out there has been restarting. It needs I think it's in a firmware
But I mean, I'm
limbo.
connected to the internet, but all of a sudden, my Google says I'm offline.
How about you call the Hey Techies Show?
Yeah, call the Hey Techies Show, and we'll figure it out for you.
They basically now they add that the robots can't throw a football yet. That the ones they designed can't throw a football yet. So, but check it out. I will put the link out there, and you can read more about it.
So Comcast is now charging $30 to avoid companies' usage caps. So Comcast in select areas, mostly the southeast, which to me is kind of troubling. Why pick on us? To test out their originally, I think it was 250 gig monthly caps. Now it's 300. That they say is very generous.
It's not generous.
Yeah, and if you went over, it was $10 for every additional 50 gigs of data. So in select areas now, of those select areas, they are offering to charge you an extra $30 a month, so you have unlimited data, which I'm sure there's still a cap on. But the VP of Comcast on the technical side has come out and said that was a business decision to do that. That there's no reason for them to charge that because their networks are not oversubscribed or are crowded. So just another way to get more money out of you.
Stop the caps. Stop the caps.
I agree.
Android Wear smartwatches to work with iPhones. Yes, that's what I just said. Andrew Wear will work with iPhones. Basically, Google has made the Android Wear operating system compatible. Now, I ain't gonna read this whole article, or you can go look at the article, but basically most of the features are going to work. There's some things that will not work with iOS just because Apple won't play nice. Obviously, surprise there.
Surprise.
So I'd be curious to see exactly what exactly will work with this. It'd be kind of interesting. Cause
we can do a firmware upgrade on mine, and
That's
which
right.
I'm sure it's already updated, and see how it works on your phone.
Yeah, so we'll try to do that.
Since we know you have an iPhone.
Yeah, I know, but we'll look into that. But that's the little tease for next week, I guess.
Cool.
Hacking medical mannequins. No kidding.
Say that 5 times fast.
Hacking medical mannequins. A team of researchers at the University of South Alabama. They're investigating possible breaches of the medical devices. The computer scientists investigated the ease of compromising a training mannequin. Now, what would you do? The mannequin model used is named iStan, little I, capital S-T-A-N. They say it's one of the most advanced wireless patient simulators. Have you ever seen some of those? I know I have to work with the nursing department here.
Yeah,
and
you've told me about
those
some
things
of
are
them.
complicated.
They're expensive.
They are very expensive. So they can do like blood pressure rate and all kind of things. And I'm trying to figure out.
It's cheaper to buy a human.
Yeah. Now, the paper reads, if medical training environments are breached, the long-term ripple effects on the medical profession potentially impacts thousands of lives due to incorrect analysis of life-threatening critical data by medical personnel.
Well, I'm going to stay on the data caps. It's just what it is. So the CEO of T-Mobile, which they claim to be the uncarrier, has come out on a rant and said that they will no longer tolerate those who abuse and steal from T-Mobile's unlimited data plans. So I'm trying to remember exactly how many people it said. I think it was like 3,000 individuals that he identifies as thieves and abusers and even hackers of tethering their data because they're using apps to hide their tethering activity. So he's accusing these people of being thieves and liars and what other, he said hackers and all this stuff because they are using their unlimited data.
Must not be unlimited.
Maybe somebody should take a look in the mirror and see who's the thief, and the stealer and hacking English because unlimited means no caps.
No, I know. You're right. We've had that discussion. Yeah.
With no limits.
I'm a real reality guy. Not reality TV, but I live in the real world, and words mean things.
I agree.
They actually have meaning. So
They
are kind of skirting the issue.
No, they're not skirting. They're blatantly.
I know. No, what I'm saying is they're trying to rename that word. They're trying to say, oh, it's this, but it's really not.
Yeah. Well, in our contract, unlimited means what we deem as appropriate.
Yeah, what we deem as appropriate.
It's like at some point you got to say no. Words mean what they mean.
Right.
All right. The University of Oklahoma becomes the first school to accept Apple Pay across campus.
Wow.
Yes. As of this week, the University of Oklahoma will begin accepting Apple Pay across its entire campus, becoming the first university to widely embrace this new, payment system.
Really?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
We're upgrading ours, and I'm not sure if we'll do any, because if you do NFC, we'll be able to do Apple Pay and Android.
Yeah, I don't work with the payment stuff, but
yeah. But we're getting all new machines. It's a new company, and I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the laws that are changing in October.
Yeah. But anyway, there's apparently the University of Oklahoma. It's a large campus, but you'll be able to use Apple Pay at its 400 point of service locations, including bookstores, restaurants, and more.
Yeah, I don't know if we have that
Did
many.
you read some of those comments? Did you get time to go through some of the comments? Some people were talking about fail. They went places and it didn't work, or it wasn't working
I'll say
properly,
this. I tried to use Apple Pay at a local business. I won't say which business.
McDonald's.
That's Bruce at HeyTechiesShow.com. I tried to use it at a local business, and it would not work. And they're like, they kept on trying. Like, well, let me try this they're doing something on the cash register, and it still wouldn't work, and it wouldn't work. I said, let me pull my card out and swipe it.
Yeah.
Did you say Siri call 911?
No, I did not.
Hey, the Alabama District Attorney warns of hidden photo app. Now, parents, you need to listen up. This is from WSFA.com. I think
that's a station in Montgomery.
Yeah, station in Montgomery. There you go. Guru has it. The Blount County District Attorney is warning parents about a new app that allows users to hide pictures on their phone.
Ooh.
So, Bruce, how this app works is you have the app. It's actually called Calculator Percent. Calculator with a percent sign. Okay.
The whole word calculator?
Yes, Calculator Percent.
Okay.
And it encourages, what it basically encourages is they're saying a child to be able to have a code and type it in, and then it goes to another screen that hides their videos and photos.
Yeah, I'll say this about the percent. It's kind of this is really pegging the geek meter here, but percent in the Oracle and database environment is a wild card.
Yeah.
So you have
I'm sure
calculator and whatever else.
Now this is on the App Store, the Apple App Store. I think I understood to say.
That's just shocking that it made it past. App approval.
I think it's on the Google Play Store too. I believe.
Google Play stuff doesn't get vetted, so don't surprise me there. I'm just
saying. Anyway,
just
you
saying,
need to
also don't take
if you're listening to this show and you're a parent, you may want to ask your child to let you. You need to have an open discussion with them and see that maybe they don't know what it does.
Yeah.
But apparently they have a code that they can come up with and type it in, and that's when it opens up.
So your brand new phone could still have malware. A new phone is supposed to be clean, but alarmingly, that's not always the case. A security company, G-Data, has identified more than 20 phones that have malware installed. Of course, some of these you're gonna be like, I've never heard of those, or some of these you're gonna be like, doesn't surprise me. considering their track record and where they're located. I think one of them's, I guess it's pronounced Xiaomi, and then Huawei. Everybody knows Huawei. Well, we know Huawei.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, Lenovo.
Oh.
Which really, I mean, they build some solid computers, but they're just, again, where they're located. Alps, Concord, DJC, Zito, and I think further down here they talk about Samsung having some issues. But what's happening to a lot of these phones is that they're being intercepted during shipment, and they're being preloaded with one of them was a malware embedded with a Netflix app that had been pre-installed on 6 mobile devices, and then they grabbed credit card numbers and sent those and that information and the passwords were sent to a server in Russia.
Wow.
So some of the stuff is being intercepted because, I mean, it's all coming from overseas. So from the, time it leaves the factory till it gets to, your local Apple store or Best Buy or Walmart or just Amazon warehouse, or Verizon and AT&T shops, who you don't know all who's touched it. So there's that's another thing, which, the NSA's done with some stuff. They intercept servers and switches and routers and firewalls and plant their own stuff. They've been known to do that. So they're kind of taking the same approach and then making some money off of it.
You got anything left, Guru, in your line stack? A quick thing?
I'm empty. My stack is empty.
I can tell you this. We'll put this in, but you can turn your Surface Pro 3 into a mobile payment solution with I think it's through PayPal here.
It'll be used for those actual Surface.
For those people that...
Those 10 Surfaces have been sold.
You know what I forgot?
They're sold. What's that?
I saw a student on campus with a Surface
You
today.
told us that.
Surface Pro.
That's right.
Hey, don't forget you're listening to WLJS Jacksonville, Alabama, and you're also listening to the Hey Techies Show, and we're so glad that you were able to join us tonight, and I appreciate it so much. It's so good to be here with Bruce and the Guru, and we've had a fabulous time, and you can also be able to hear the show on a podcast later when I get it uploaded. You'll be able to see our Hey Techies Show notes, and also watch us. You'll be able to watch us anytime. I wanted to mention that last week's episode, according to YouTube, has
over 1,000 views.
Hold on, 1,046 views as of I think yesterday. So,
so don't forget
whoever's watching,
leave us questions throughout the week. We will respond to them on the show. So if you don't feel like calling in,
questions at heytechieshow.com.
Absolutely.
So glad you were with us tonight. We thank you so much. Hope you have a great evening.
See you next week.
The Hey Techies Show is produced by Mike Stedham and co-produced by The Guru. Station manager is Billy Dunn. Professional introductions by me, A. Announcer.